Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for Bramble Fox, and I'm using some new goodies that have arrived in the store. So I've got the triangle set, I've also got the speech bubble set, and I've got both of those in the lime and turquoise colourway. I'm also going to use one of the titles from the June Fox box, and I'm using 3 Fox cut stencils. So I've got number 32, number 28, and then finally number 14, and I'm going to manage to get all 3 of those on my background today. And as I said, I've got the triangles and the speech bubbles in the green and turquoise, or lime and turquoise colourway. They are both also available on the website in pink and orange as well, and I think the triangles are actually available in black and white as well, so a nice monochrome set. So available in different colours. I'm going for a very blue and green layout today. I've pulled out a photo of my little boy that's got lots of blues and greens in it, and I'm also using the Adventures title from the June Fox box, and that's a lovely kind of bluish, almost turquoise colour. And I couldn't decide on a collection to use for this layout. I was pulling out loads of different things and I was feeling really indecisive, and generally I was just making a mess of my craft room. So I decided to put them all back away and just go for a really sort of heavy mixed media layout instead. And when I'm indecisive, I do tend to reach for my mixed media products. It's kind of my go-to thing. So I'm going to be quite heavy on the mixed media today. And I've also got a couple of these large acetate butterflies in perfect colours to match my perspectives. Those are from the range actually, and you get a huge sheet of them. I think you get about 8 or 10 on a sheet, and they work really well with these products. So I'm really glad I had them in my stash. So I've used a couple of those, and I've kind of placed my perspectives on my background there to see where I want them to sit, so I know where to add my mixed media. And I love those little triangle perspectives because you can either have them open, or the smaller ones actually fit inside the bigger ones. So as you saw there, I'm going to have some individual ones, but I'm also going to have some with the internal pieces back in, inverting the colours. So I've got the blue one in the green and the green in the blue, but it's just another interesting way of using them. My little boy has come to join me now. He was drawing Moana and Maui apparently whilst I was doing my mixed media, bless him. So I wanted something quite dramatic on my background. So I've pulled out my black acrylic paint, and I've got a 1/2 inch paintbrush there. And I'm using the paint dry, so I'm not adding any water to that at all. And I'm only using a tiny bit of paint and kind of dabbing it on my packaging to get the excess off, and then just swiping it across my background in horizontal stripes. And I wanted it to be quite kind of faded, as you can see, so that you can see those paint streaks. I wanted to see the bristle marks from my paintbrush. So very minimal paint and not a lot of water. And then once I was happy with that, I've watered the paint down and added some black splatters to bring in a bit more drama. And then I'm coming in with a couple of sprays here. So I've got a Distress spray stain, it's a green one, I think it's Twisted Citron or something like that. And the idea was I wanted to spray in the middle so that it was covered by my photo, but you would see the kind of outer bits of the spray. So you kind of get like the dotty bits at the edge. And that worked really well with the green one. And then I picked up a Lindy's Starburst spray in Sassy Sapphire. And it sprayed out a little bit wider than I was anticipating. I was struggling with the nozzle, and then when it did come out, it went right down the bottom of the page. So I've got that huge sort of semicircle there of turquoise that kind of bugs me towards the end. I didn't notice it too much at the beginning, but when I came to photograph my layout, I really couldn't believe I hadn't noticed it before. And it just bugged me that it was this big blob of turquoise down the bottom. So off camera at the end, you'll notice that I do add a little bit more turquoise to the top right there, just to balance the page out. And once I'd done that, I was much happier with it. Just really shocked that I hadn't noticed it the whole way through this process. But yeah, so easily sort of worked around it just by balancing it out at the end. So as you saw, I dried off all of my wet mixed media with my heat gun very quickly so that I could crack on with my stenciling. And this is Fox Cut 28, lovely, almost looks like a firework, little starburst. And I'm using 2 Distress Oxides. I've got Mermaid Lagoon and Mowed Lawn, and I'm using a blending brush through those. Just added 2 kind of diagonally through my page in the opposite direction that my butterflies will go, just to have a little bit of detail in those sort of areas that will be exposed. And now I'm coming in with Fox Cut 32, which is the stars. And really simply, I'm just using a black fine liner pen here, and I'm just drawing a couple of stars, so using it as kind of template to trace some stars onto my background. And I'm going to leave those open. I'm not adding any ink to them or anything, just wanted them there as a subtle detail. And then I'm going to just work on my photo, so just adding some white cardstock there, just as a frame, just to give it a bit of separation from this busy mixed media background. And then coming in with a layer of black as well, just to kind of make it really pop. And because I've got that black mixed media in the background, I wanted to bring in a little bit more black. So you can see with that black and white border around it, it really makes the photo stand out against that mixed media. So I'm going to have that in the centre of my page, and then I've got my perspective title there on the bottom right. It's going to go over one of my butterflies. I didn't want it to overlap my photo too much, because in the photo my little boy has just come down the slide on his tummy, feet first, and he's kind of stopped at the bottom laughing because he's noticed his reflection in the slide. So you can see you've got his face sort of looking back at him. I didn't want to cover that up with the perspective, so I am going to offset that over onto the right there, and you can see his little face now. He's got huge, you can't actually see his real face, but in the reflection you can see he's got a massive smile on his face. I absolutely love this photo, so I didn't want to cover that up at all. And then I'm bringing in some little alphabet stickers. I think those are by Doodlebug, and making my title Park Adventures, and I've used a lovely lime green colour for that to match my colour scheme. And finally, for my mixed media, I'm coming in with Fox Cut 14, which is very aptly named, I think. I won't forget that one, because obviously Valentine's Day is the 14th of February, and it is Fox Cut 14 for hearts. So that tickled me when I went to look up what number it was. Bit of useless information for you there. So what I'm doing with this stencil is I'm using an embossing pen, and I'm literally just colouring in some of the hearts through the stencil. Then I'm pouring on some Wow bonding powder, and I'm going to heat that up with my heat gun, and I'm using some fab foils with that. So the foil will bond to that bonding powder once it almost kind of melts, and you will get some of the foil stuck to my background. Now this never comes out perfect, and it's mainly probably because my embossing pen is drying out a little bit. If you've got one of the embossing dabbers or one of the pads, you can probably use those as well. I just prefer to use my pen for accuracy, so I will need to get a new one. But I'm not going for a perfect look. Like, my mixed media is quite messy, none of it is really perfect. So you do get some of the foiling, and the turquoise colour works much better than the green. But you do get to see some of that lovely foiling on the background, so it's just kind of another level or layer of mixed media. So you literally just colour in or draw or stamp whatever you want with embossing fluid, then you pour over the bonding powder and shake off the excess, just as if you were using embossing powders. Then once you heat that up, it melts, and you have to immediately apply the fab foil. Now it does get very hot, and I do burn my thumbs slightly. So what you can do is get a pencil eraser and use that instead to kind of rub over the foil, just to make sure you've got good contact with the foil and that bonding powder. And then once that's kind of dried a little bit, you can peel that off, and you'll see in some of the close-ups at the end that it gives this lovely foiled look to your background. I have, however, managed to bend one of the wings on my butterflies whilst I was pulling it back. So you've got my little boy's face coming in every now and then, saying hello to the camera, bless him. It's not often I scrap when he's at home, but he was off ill from school for a few days, and this was his final day off, and he'd started perking up a little bit towards the evening. So obviously feeling much better, and kept putting his face in the camera, bless him. Now he's bringing me sweeties. Well, a disaster of a video, but bless him, he's having fun. And he's allowing me to scrap, which is a bonus, so I'm just gonna carry on through it. But getting my perspectives stuck in place now. I always tend to reach for glossy accents for my perspectives, because it's got really strong hold, and I find that once they've kind of set and stuck on, there's no getting them off, so they're not going to fall off in my albums or anything when my layouts do eventually make it to an album. But the top of that green one at the top, I've added some foam pads just to bring it up to the same level as my photo, because my photo's got a layer of foam behind it. And the same with my title. So the A and the D, I've just used glossy accents, but I have cut down some foam pads and just placed those behind the second half of the word just to make them level so that it doesn't kind of bend and ping up or anything like that. But then all the little perspectives that are going flat on my background, I'm just using my glossy accents. And I decided at this point to bring in a couple more triangles, almost like chevrons. So I've got 2 little rows of 3 now, and another little cross with each of those clusters as well. And then I'm just having a play here, trying to decide if I want to bring in a couple more of the speech bubbles, but I decided it was just overloading the page really. I couldn't decide which, with me, it kind of tells me that it doesn't add anything to the page. If it added something, when I was trialling them out, I'd have been, oh yes, definitely, I want that. But I was really indecisive, so for me, it just tells me they weren't necessary. So didn't want to overload the page, so I've left those off. But I've got some close-ups coming up for you here now of my final layout. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I had great fun doing this. It's not often I make a layout without using a particular collection or brand or something, so it's fun just to get messy with mixed media and let my perspectives really pop on the page. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, these perspectives are available in different colourways, so I'll pop some links in the description box below to the Bramble Fox shop for you, also to the Foxbox subscription page, and also there'll be a link to our Bramble Fox Friends Facebook group, so I'll leave those links in the description box for you. But thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.